Welcome to the 2K Sports Studios. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with my partner Clark Kellogg. Coming up on College Hoops Tonight, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. We'll preview some of the biggest games coming up this week in the NCAA, as well as show you the best action from around the nation. But we begin with a special player who was an easy choice as our Player of the Week in college basketball.
Joseph is a favorite to win this award every week, Greg, and he gets it this week. If there's anyone who doesn't consider him one of the best players in the country, just take a look at his last few performances.
He was playing like a house on fire this week, Clark. The performance he gave leads me to believe there might be a few more Player of the Week awards for him in the very near future. He looked like he was enjoying the pressure of carrying his team, so the increased expectations should be no problem for him to handle. Now let's take a look ahead to the games that get top billing on the schedule in the days to come. We've come to the time of year when the conference pictures are really starting to come into focus, and this game is a crucial grudge match between a pair of the best teams in the Pac-10.
Cal should come out on top if I had to make a prediction. Their backcourt is so solid this year, and their guards love to get out and run. That gives them a huge advantage in a game that should be as fast-paced as this one will be.
And there's another game on the agenda that's too juicy to ignore. This game matches a pair of top 10 teams and is sure to bring both teams' fans out of the woodwork, not to mention a fair share of the national media.
Clemson would be my pick here. They are so strong on the inside that I believe they'll be just too tough to match up with. It will really surprise me if that talent discrepancy on the inside doesn't tell the tale of this game.
Now, let's turn our attention to some of the action of the past week in the NCAA with our Games of the Week. We had a pair of top 25 teams in an old-fashioned grudge match. Virginia Tech overpowered Florida State.
The score might not have been close, but I don't think that's an indicator of how similar these teams are talent-wise. It was just a matter of one side having an off night at the worst possible time. Stiles had the hot hand on the winning side. His 20 points led all scorers. He was splashing threes from all over the place, Greg. In transition, in a half-court set, it didn't matter. He was letting them fly and watching them drop.
Also on our list of games of the week is a conference face-off in the ACC. Wake Forest got the better of Clemson.
Both of these teams are jostling for position at this point in the season. We're in that critical part of the year when everybody's trying to get hot before the postseason. Momentum is everything right now. Wake Forest did a
It is an annual rite of spring, bringing with it excitement and emotion that can be found in no other sporting event. The NCAA Tournament. Your wait is finally over, the brackets are ready, and the drama of March Madness is about to begin. Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel, and this is the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Joining me at the anchor desk, as always, my partner, Clark Kellogg. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. The rankings look a little different than they did last week. The South Carolina Gamecocks fell all the way from the number 18 spot to number 23.
That's not the direction you want to be going at this time of year, but they're a strong enough team that I believe they can turn it around.
Also, a new team has made the leap into the top 25. The Missouri Tigers are back in the poll as the number 21 team. Now let's take a look at the NCAA tournament bubble and see which teams are sitting at home with their fingers crossed, hoping to see their name in the brackets. There are a lot of worthy candidates among these 10 teams, Clark. Which of these bubble teams stands out to you right now?
Indiana had the chance to set themselves apart from the rest of the bubble teams, but they never could get over that hump and guarantee themselves a spot.
You got that right. And who else might be in the same position?
Notre Dame should be considered among the best of the major conference teams not holding an automatic bid. But there are plenty of non-power conference teams knocking on the door that may prevent them from getting an invitation.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The Richmond Spiders are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. They begin the tournament as the dominant team in college basketball. They've been ranked number 1 in the media poll for the past 5 weeks. We'll soon find out if they can live up to their billing. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the San Antonio Regional. The California Golden Bears are seeking their second NCAA championship in school history. The Mississippi State Bulldogs are our third number 1 seed, and they'll play in the St. Louis Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our fourth number 1 seed will play in the San Jose Regional. The Kansas State Wildcats are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the second time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the San Antonio Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the St. Louis Regional will play the winner of the San Jose Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 3rd. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April the 5th. Anything shocking to you about those picks?
Well, when you see the selection committee deviate from the top 4 teams in the media poll, it's a little surprising. They've opened themselves up to some criticism with these picks.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The Richmond Spiders are the top seed, finishing at 29-3. They won both the regular season and conference tournament titles in the A-10. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Centenary, with 10 wins, and Coppin State from the MEAC. And now, the number 8 seed, the Marquette Golden Eagles, come into the tournament 5th in their conference during the regular season and were winners of their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Purdue Boilermakers, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 24-11. Virginia Tech enters the field as the number 4 seed from the ACC. This marks their 16th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Tennessee Volunteers. Finished the season with 17 wins.
The Virginia Tech Hokies are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other teams in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
Missouri comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 22-11. And they will take on the 12th seed from the Patriot League, the Black Knights of Army, with 17 wins. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Ohio State Buckeyes have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big Ten. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Robert Morris Colonials, with 17 wins. This is their 6th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Our number 7 seed is from the Big East. The DePaul Blue Demons were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who were 4th in their conference, finishing at 20-11. Clemson comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 21-9. Portland State comes in to face them at number 14 with 15 wins in the tournament championship of the Big Sky. The Cincinnati Bearcats are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Boston College Eagles, with 23 wins. I think this could wind up being the bracket that brings us this year's Cinderella story. A few of the higher seeds here have had terrific seasons, and I'll be surprised if at least one of them doesn't put together a long run in this tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the San Antonio Regional. The California Golden Bears are the top seed, finishing at 25-8. They finished 2nd in the Pac-10. They'll take on the Western Michigan Broncos, the number 16 ranked team. This is their 6th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Georgia Tech comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 19-10. LSU comes in to face them at number 9 with 19 wins and a chance to make believers out of any doubters they might have. Washington comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 22-9. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the Horizon League, the Loyola Ramblers, with 15 wins. Rutgers enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Big East. This marks their 13th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Tennessee Tech Golden Eagles. Finished the season with 20 wins.
The Rutgers Scarlet Knights will be an extremely dangerous team in this tournament, mainly because they have such terrific veteran leadership. Coaches love when they have guys on the floor that have been around the block a few times because they don't get rattled. They play with composure. I look at the experience of this team as something that could put them over the top.
Our number 2 seed is from the ACC. The Virginia Cavaliers are on a hot streak, having just won their conference tournament championship. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Jackson State Tigers, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 15-17. Next up is the number 7 seed. The St. Mary's Gales have established themselves as one of the best teams from the West Coast Conference. The Air Force Falcons are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Boise State Broncos, with 14 wins. And now the number 6. This bracket has the on to our UNLV enters the next up and on the next Michigan comes in as the San Diego, and now the number 7 seed. The Kansas Jayhawks are in as the number 3. Our number 6 seed is from the what a tremendous regional fight. What are your thoughts on our top? Now let's bring the conference picture into focus. The SEC gets 9 teams. The ACC we showed you the bubble teams before. Now that we know who's in and who's out, what do you think of the selections, Clark?
Indiana must feel a whole lot better now than they did before the show started. Their ticket is...
All right, Clark,